right, welcome to another episode of Touring the AFC South. I'm your host, Mike Patton. Of course, it is the month of March, and like I've done for the past 2 years on this show, the month of March is Women's History Month. I scrap everything else I talk about. We're going to recognize Black women on the show for the entire month, starting with, of course, the first day. And the first person I have on the show is gotta have Eda Goddess on the show. Gotta have her on the show. I mean, she definitely knows all the sports from A to Z. We're gonna talk a little bit about that and how she got into that and more, and kind of get everyone to get to know you. How are you doing?
I am doing good on this cold, rainy Friday out here in Atlanta. So this is cuddle weather right now. So I am chilling.
There we go. There we have it. Well, we're going to get into everything. We're going to talk a little Atlanta as well. But
Yes.
first on the show, like for this month, everyone that watches the show, I always do the get up your chest segment. That's usually what I do. But on this episode, we're gonna start with some Black Girl Magic.
Yes.
And one girl that is Black Girl Magic, or one young woman, I should say, that is Black Girl Magic, that is Juju Watkins. I mean, if you look at her incredible freshman year, she's averaging 28 points, 7
Mm-hmm.
rebounds, 3.4 assists. That is
Balling.
excellent,
She
excellent,
balling.
excellent. And she's carrying USC to the to the NCAA tournament. I'm
Yes.
she's not the great. I mean, there's other good players on the team, but she
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
by far the star of the team.
Exactly. You always have to have a star player. I don't care what anybody say. Like for me, when I was on a volleyball team, I was a star server. So that's just it is what it is. And when we needed that little clutch time, that's when I came in.
Go. There we go. So I just want to give people a little bit more perspective on how great a season she had. So what I did was I did a little bit of research on a few college greats in women's college basketball that I kind of checked out over the years. Now, some of these women are around the same age as me, so hey, chill. But we're gonna give these stats anyway. Of their freshman year, keep in mind these are their freshman year
Freshman year.
numbers. Now, Shamika Holdsclaw, University of
Okay.
Tennessee, 16.2 points, 9 rebounds, 2.6 assists that she averaged her freshman year. Just keep that in mind. She was a very great college basketball player. Now, we're going to go to another great college basketball player, Diana Taurasi. Now, you would think she's averaging
Yes.
all these great
Yes.
points when she was a freshman. No, she only averaged 10.9 points.
Oh yeah.
3.2
I
rebounds,
actually
and
kind of
3.3 assists.
I faintly remember her playing in college. Faintly.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's been a minute. It's
Yeah.
definitely been a minute. Now, everyone wants to talk about Caitlin out in Iowa and her great season. Now, I'm not saying she's not great. She is. She's a great
She's a
basketball
baller.
player.
She's a baller, yeah.
But listen to these numbers her freshman year: 26 points per game, 7 assists, 5.9 rebounds. So just you got to think Juju was averaging more points. She got more
Mhm.
rebounds. Of course, Caitlin had her an assist. But
Yeah.
just you gotta show props to Juju and the magic that she is on the court. I mean, just look at the way she can back down players and shoot right over the top of them. She's got the long game. She's got just
Yep.
the feel of everything on the court. She can do anything you ask and more on the court. And
Oh yeah.
I just wanted
She's
to give
having an
her
amazing
some love.
season.
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
want to
she's
give her
having
some
an
love.
amazing season.
Yeah,
Amazing
definitely,
season.
definitely.
I mean, right now, I think women's college basketball is a lot more interesting than the men. I have to admit that because again, like I said, you got Caitlin who's out there balling. Angel is still doing what she's doing, so I'm really excited to see exactly where USC falls, where LSU is going to fall, where South Carolina is going to fall, where Iowa is going to fall. Because those are my teams I have my eye on. Connecticut, I always have my eyes on UConn because UConn always comes out and surprise me every year, even when it feels like they're having a down year. So I'm just right now, I think I'm gonna make a bracket for the women's compared to the men because I can't trust them right now. It's been too many ups and downs this season.
Well, I like it. It keeps me on the edge of my seat. But one name you didn't mention that I like and that I can say this team will only go as far as she carries them
Mm-hmm.
in terms of how she plays. That's Rakia Jackson that plays for the UT Lady Vols.
Okay.
Yes.
UT been kind of quiet, like in the fact of kind of how they've been playing.
Yeah, Rakia hasn't been healthy all season. She actually was kind of not healthy at the beginning of the season. Her and Tamara Key, I believe, they weren't healthy at the beginning of the season, and kind of as the season's gone along, they've gotten back in the swing.
They gotten better, yeah. And
those
are the teams you got to watch out for.
That happens.
Those are those teams you got to watch out for.
I'm hoping that all this hype that they got can actually be put to good use, because they are a very tall team, which a lot of people don't recognize. They are a very tall team. I'm still trying to figure that out.
5'6". I'm only 5'6", and I used to remember when 5'6" was a good height to play basketball, because my dad used to always try to get me out there to go, and I'm like, Dad, this is not my type of game. I get violent, and this is not what I need to play. So so my height was perfect. But seeing some of these girls now, like, girl, you 6 who? So yeah. I like, now I think that's just all out of my mind. So I'm like, okay, I could have been like a little point guard. Didn't know that. All right, cool.
I hear you there, but it is what it is at this point, and on we go to the tournament, which is March Madness, of course. March, the best month of the year. Well, but of course, we didn't come here to just talk about the Black Girl Magic and Juju Watkins. We came here to talk about you. And now I want to go back to, I want to get everyone to get to know you. So let's go back in time a little bit to kind of Little E. We're going to call it.
Little E.
All right. So where did you grow up?
So I'm originally born here in Atlanta, Georgia, but I am an Army brat, so you can say I have different area codes, including that over in Germany, because my dad just never could stay put. We've been back and forth from Georgia to freaking Oklahoma to Kentucky to Germany, back to Georgia, back to Oklahoma. So, home is really technically Atlanta. My dad is originally from Augusta, Georgia, so that's where I've been back and forth between here and Augusta. But more recently, I finished out my high school career in the great state of Texas, and I'm saying that with so much sarcasm. I graduated high school from there. Shout out to James Bowie High School, all my Vol alumni. So that's where I did. I ended up going to college at the University of Georgia, but unfortunately my dad did get sick. So the plan was for me to come back and finish school out there to help my mom with that situation. Unfortunately, my dad passed away into 2010. So right at the, start of me going into, finishing up my freshman year to senior year. So went to the University of Texas at Arlington, Mav up. That's where I got both of my degrees from, one in communication studies, the other one in social work. So that's where pretty much I, in a sense, grew up. I tried to get my way back to Atlanta for the longest after that, but I got stuck.
Got you. Well, I know it's been some time, but condolences on your dad. I know he's very proud of the young woman you've become. So,
I mean, I credit him to the reason why I'm here. I was a daddy's girl for real.
Okay. All right. So speaking of that, seeing that, you were a daddy's girl, you moved around a lot. What did you really want to be when you grew up? Did you have something in mind when you were a kid? Like, okay, this is what I want to be.
I did. Every kid's dream, for me as a girl, a ballerina. So that was the first ever dream. But I quit ballet. at an early age. I just did not like it. I quit gymnastics. Thought I was going to be a gymnast for a quick hot second. And then it just, as the time went on, cheerleading. I did cheerleading. I was an all-star cheerleader as well. They did try to flip me, and I said no. So I was the girl that held everybody up and sit there and look cute, because you're not going to fit me. But as I got older, I grew more into law. So that was my goal, was to become an attorney. Shout out to Alexander Cabot from Law and Order SVU. So I did. I wanted to do criminal law. I really thought that was the goal that I was going to go into. That was like literally my plan from high school on. I took criminal justice classes. Like I was ready. Like that was just the dream. And that all changed. Imposter syndrome is really weird and real. And I just let everybody just tell me which way to go. And I should have just created my own path from where I should have went, and I should have stuck to that law school and stuck to that, because the whole goal was for me to go into law, do a little criminal attorney, and then move on to sports and become an agent. That's what the goal was. My whole goal was to become the first Black woman as a GM for the Atlanta Falcons or any other team, but I really wanted the Atlanta Falcons. So that was legitimately my goal, was to sit there and run the team. So I'm like, I need to show these people how to spend some money, because y'all ain't spending money right. y'all not doing what I need y'all to do. Y'all not picking the players I need y'all to do. So that was the whole goal. But I just kind of let that imposter syndrome take over, and in a sense, just let other people dictate where I was supposed to be instead of listening to myself.
Gotcha. Yeah, we've all gone through those different scenarios and situations where, we kind of let the world dictate to us instead of standing on our own to saying, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is how it's going to be. Yep. You don't like it, fine, but I'm going to do this. And it's all not coming at you. I'm not coming for you. No.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm just saying that, we all have our own moments in time where we have to learn to kind of, take our own path instead of the path that has for us. But there's something in that path, though, I do want to talk about in terms of your path of growing up and different things that I found quite interesting when I heard you say this. Boxing. Yes. Now, boxing. I want to know, how did you get into boxing? I really want. Did you actually box as well?
Did.
Wow. I got to hear about this. How did it happen?
So one, I'm an only child. I don't have any brothers or sisters. So I don't have anybody that I can go run to say, hey, come get this person. It's just me. And one day my mom caught one of these little girls, in my face and, pushing me around, and she just didn't like it. You know what I mean? And my cousin was taking boxing just as a way for her to just, escape, and, cause she did a mix of kickboxing and regular boxing. So my mom was like, do kickboxing. I'm like, I don't do no kickboxing. I'll do boxing. I'll fight. I don't want to sit over and kick a bag all day. And it was really just supposed to be for me to get discipline and, just to learn self-defense in a sense. Because I didn't want to do karate. I didn't want to do all of that. I'm like, I don't know how. Give me boxing. I'll take that. And, the trainer that was there, unfortunately, was just like, look, I want you to get on this training path and do this. And when I say unfortunately, because at that time I was like, no, I don't want to go that path. I'm just here to do this. But he was like, no, you have the skills to be something special. And I said, don't you tell everybody that? Like, I don't, like, I'm just here. Like, what? So yeah, he introduced me to a couple of other trainers. And they automatically said, like, whoa, you're an orthodox fighter. I was like, I don't know what that is. Like, what do you mean? And they were just like, it's just a style of boxing that you can do. And I was like, orthodox. So okay, orthodox, let's go. You know what I mean? I remember watching little boxing matches on, this is how old I am, and on HBO. With my dad, when they used to have the HBO boxing. I grew up watching Tyson. So I never knew what it was. Layla Ali was my favorite woman boxer. I have to admit that. Like, she's literally like was just everything. And I was just like, I never knew that they had a style. I thought you just go out there and start punching people. But when they started training me, that's kind of where it went, and it just took off from there. Like, I was beating kids up at that point. I was like, this is fun. And it just went from there. And I started doing amateur. But the sad part about that, my cousin kind of got herself in some things, and my mom really didn't understand some things, especially when it comes down to registering your hands. So that was just something my mom just was like, no, because if anything happens, she's going to jail. So it was just like, leave it alone at that point. You got what you needed out of it. You did what you needed out of it. My dad was kind of upset, but then he was just like, no, you're a girl. I need you to be a girl. Because again, I grew up as a tomboy. I'm not going to lie to you. I grew up as a tomboy. I was one of the girls that was playing with the boys. I used to get tossed around, thrown around by my cousins. I'll fall and scrape my knee. I'll kind of cry a little bit because it stung, but I'll be laughing because it's funny. So I was that type of kid. So boxing wasn't nothing to me. I'm like, give me my mouth guard, let's go, you know? So that's pretty much what it is. And I just kind of been in the sense and just been into it because it's just been in me. I just never went back because, again, I don't want to register my hands. I really don't. I really don't. Like that.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I was going to ask you, what's a good boxing story? Because I was going to ask you what was your style, orthodox. I heard that. I was like, okay. So I'm thinking maybe you were left-handed, perhaps.
That was actually my stance, was a left hand stance. Because again, in boxing, you never lead with your dominant hand. Since I'm right-handed, I need to lead with this. And I never knew that my left hand was actually really stronger than my dominant hand. So that was another thing. You know what I mean? Like, so I was just, it was just more so easier for me to hit with the jab. Like my signature is literally my uppercut. I don't know why. Every time I hit the combo, they were just like, it was just spectacular. So one of my boxing stories actually didn't come in the ring. It's pretty funny because it wasn't supposed to happen, but I ended up going with a girl because she found out that I could box, and we went and you know how kids are, going inside the backyard. Somebody got some gloves, give it to them, and I was like, okay, give me the gloves. You know what I mean? We gonna do some straight street boxing. Let's go. You know what I mean? And the girl was trying to, in a sense, like she had the stance down, and it kind of shook me a little bit because I was like, oh, wait a minute, hold on. Like, let me go ahead and get a little serious here a little bit, So it was funny because she caught me off guard, and nobody has never ever caught me off guard ever. Like, I never let my guard down, never let anything. And she caught me off guard and clocked me right here. And when she did, I said, so that's what it feels like to get hit. And I was like, all right, let's go. After that, it was just boom, 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 pow. And once that happened, it got back to school. And when it got back to school, that they like, she know how to box for real, different things like that. Like, everybody kept coming up to me. Like, people were like, I never really talked to, were trying to be friends with me. I'm like, I'm not here to protect y'all. Back up. Like, when they found out that I was really, like, I knew how to really box, you know what I mean? One of the wrestling coach came and asked me, she was like, I know you're a boxer, but have you ever thought about wrestling? I said, no. Wrestling was not going to be my forte. We were not going to be tussling like that. So, but it was just to the point to where I felt better about myself, because now that people knew not to mess with me, it was just even more of a solid thing. Like, leave me alone, So, that was that. But in the ring, I had a boxing match where I went my first 10 rounds. And when I say the girl hit me in my kidney, and when I say that you lose your breath, you do. You do. Ooh. You do. She hit me right in the kidney, and I went like, when it happened, I said, oh, I had to say that. It was like, look, you guys, give me 1 second. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I need to breathe. So when I, got back into it, like, I had to go back and understand how to, protect my body a lot more, because again, when they say you can't breathe, you really can't. I've been hitting the liver, as well. That 15 seconds is the most dreading 15 seconds of your life, because you do kind of get a little lightheaded, because you just stop, you know what I mean? Even then with the kidney punches, like, body shots are the most hard shots to take. With that, and they do weaken you. Like, everything that they tell you about boxing is true. But yeah, I learned how to protect myself, maneuver myself, be different things to where, like, you know, I could have moved from the amateur. I could have probably even really the next path was to try out for the Olympic team, to go that direction. Or to find some more amateur fights to start getting my name out there, to start building building myself up to be able to go out and actually be professional. That was pretty much the next step. You know, he wanted me to do the Olympics first to see, you know, other competition across there. But then it was just like, at that time, my mom was like, no, because she has to register her hands, and didn't want to get myself in trouble because my hands will still be registered to this day.
Okay. All right. So, wow, that was I didn't know it went that deep, but wow, okay, I learned a lot today. But
it gets deeper. Yeah, it gets deeper. That's just the surface level for amateurs. But once you get in there and get into the professional ring, like the training, when they train, like even the sparring session, some of the sparring sessions that I had to do even before like an amateur fight, those were tough, because you're fighting somebody for real, even though it's sparring, but you're going through and getting the techniques, getting that you're finding somebody that's similar to the fighter that you're going to fight, and trying to get an understanding, you know, of your guard, like how much can you lower your guard, this what combinations you want to throw out, what is the technique, you know. It's chess. It's not checkers. It's chess. It's a very big chess match. And yeah, it's a lot of mental preparation. I had fun. I thought it was always fun.
So sounds like it was quite interesting as well, especially with the liver and the body shots. But
yeah,
we're gonna kind of switch over and talk about, you know, the spaces, the podcast, and all those things. But first, we do have to take a commercial break on Touring the AFC South Women's History Month special edition shows the entire month. We're gonna take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
A shift. A shift is something that happens and changes the dynamics. And that's what happened when Garrett Logistics was born. After 10 years as a sales pro in the logistics world of sporting goods, John Garrett decided to pivot to the world of freight and start a brokerage. So you're saying to yourself, why trust Garrett Logistics? Well, Garrett Logistics helps shippers improve overall workflow, along with increased on-time pickup and delivery percentages. Last-minute loads, multi-drop pickups, and more are part of the services with Garrett Logistics. They're available Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., all times Central Standard Time. So give them a ring at 615-400-8484. That's 615-400-8484, or you can email them at john@garrettlogistics.co or visit their website at garrettlogistics.co. Garrett Logistics, where the motto is, it's not just freight to us, it's your business.
All right, and we are back on Touring the AFC South with your host, Mike Patton. Of course, Women's History Month is here, and we will be highlighting Black women the entire month. Every single show will be a guest that is a Black woman. So if you don't like Black women, I'm sorry to say the show for you. Sorry. But I'm pretty sure that everyone will get.
Oh no, they better. They better.
But we do have to get into you in terms of the other things that you do. Of course, we got to know you a little bit more, but we didn't get to know you as the podcast host, as the Spaces host, the person that would be quick to hit the mute button and let them know, hey. So, I got to get into how did you get into, the podcasting world, and how did that kind of get started for you?
Ooh, so long story short, I'm a person of the stage. I did dancing. I was on a hip hop company for like 6-7 years. So the stage is my friend. So it wasn't hard for me to try to do it again. I was supposed to be like a publicist anyway. So, you know what I mean? So it was easy for me to do it. Just with Spaces, one day my homeboy was like, because we always get on the phone after every Falcons game and always, select and talk and have that conversation. And I would get into it with some people on the timeline, just, going with it. And he was like, you know your stuff. Why don't you get on one of these Spaces and talk sports and just do it? I was like, cool. we just picked the day. We picked the Tuesday. I take that back. We actually started on a Monday, doing Monday Night Football. And I was just like, yeah, okay, I'll do it right now. I'll literally do it on Monday. So let's do it on Monday. We picked a good time that me and him were both free. Hopped in that bad boy. I, got it going, and it just took off from there. We moved it from Monday to Tuesday so everybody can watch, Monday Night Football, be respectful. And from that point, I mean, it's to this day that people are like, hey, are we having space today? I'm like, look, it's off season. What do we got to talk about? You know what I mean? But, everybody looks forward to those spaces. This past season, I started after adding like the reaction spaces right after the games too, as well. Just to give that because everybody just, especially with the season of the Falcons, that's pretty much kind of how that jumped off. And from there, I was hopping in other people's spaces. People were inviting me to their spaces. Shout out to my Commander friends, because that's kind of got me to the podcast, even though I did have a friend. Shout out to Spitty Sports Machine. I was on his couple of shows way before then. And he was like, you need to get you a YouTube channel. And I'm like, I am. Once I moved back to Georgia, I'm going to get all of that started. But let me get settled first and really start getting some other things taken care of. And we'll get that, going. But before I knew it, I was already on podcasts. So it just went from there. It kind of took off fast, but I mean, hey, that was the goal and dream from that point forward, going from my student university center, talking sports, helping people build out their fantasy drafts from basketball, baseball, all the way now to where I'm sitting here on weekly shows actually talking about sports. So yeah, it's been a long time coming.
Okay. Now, question I do have is fantasy football. What do you go for first when you're building a team?
Running back. But I'm going to say this. It actually depends on what your points are and what your system is for whoever sets up the fantasy draft. So if the points are more catered towards wide receiver, I would say go that wide receiver first. If it's catered towards more so the running back, go to running back. I done been in leagues to where it was catered toward both. So you were good with going with one or the other. But if you really want to win, you better go for that running back.
Okay.
Better go for that running back.
I'll take some notes over here. I really want to win my fantasy football league next year. So
I'm retired. I didn't win almost close to $5,000. So I'm retired. I can't do it anymore.
You see this right here? It's a pen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take that note down. I'm gonna remember that number 5,000. Okay. I'm gonna just remember that.
Big money.
But,
we big money over here.
All right. Now I do have to ask as well. Of course, it is a lab podcast, or the podcast there, the lab. I do watch that a couple different times. I've watched and kept up with. Of course, I'm doing a whole bunch of things, but hey, I do make time to watch because C. Henry's on there, so I gotta check him out. Of course, you're on there, but I always got to pick with him a little bit as well, but definitely, he definitely is fun when he's on there. But he definitely gets to the fantasy football talk. So how did that podcast kind of come about?
Ooh, so again, I was in a commander space, and this is just me going through teams, looking through spaces to see what teams I wanted to listen to get a little bit more information about their teams going into the season. And I just was in the commander space. They welcomed me with open arms all the time. Shout out to Deuce. And Deuce just reached out to me and said, hey, look, we're trying to build something here. I need somebody to come onto a podcast. I'm gonna get you and a couple of people, and we just pretty much took off from there. Deuce was on there, Slim was on there before DT, and C. Henry did come on there because me and C. Henry, we followed the college Rams as well, and he wanted to make it both college football and the NFL. So that's kind of how that took off. And then when we came into the not this past season, but the season prior in 2022, that's when we kind of, do it. Shout out to the media team as well, because he do have other podcasts that he does run. But we came in, DT came in, and he's like, look, I want to do it kind of like how they do it on First Take. You and him going at it. DT's the one that's controlling it, and we just took off from there.
Okay. All right. I do have to also ask about the Falcons Twitter spaces. Now, I've been in a couple of them and talked about some former Titans connections to the Falcons, which that's been fun. Talking about Mr. Arthur Smith and Jonnu Smith and other pieces and players. But I have to ask, E-Rob, when E-Rob gets going, oh boy, how do you kind of contain all that magic that he talks about once he gets going?
He already has a big head, honestly. Like me and him, we have side conversations. So it's like, from time to time, me and him we'll probably do some little offset talks just so I can pick his brain a little bit to see kind of where he got the understanding. So it's easy for me, but I have to let him know, look, hey, Miss ESPN, I don't need to hear about the 4-letter job. I don't need to do all of it. Calm down. Sometimes it has to do it. Like beforehand, before when he actually started coming into the spaces when we had it, a lot of people were like almost in a sense of starstruck. I'm like, y'all do realize he's just a normal person, right? Y'all realize that? Like, you know what I mean? But again, he's very knowledgeable. Shout out to him too, because with him working at ESPN, he's worked on a production team. He was able to do the draft. He actually did Tyler Allgeier's clip. So when the Falcons actually picked him in the 5th round, that was his clip that got shown. He recently just won an Emmy too for the NFL Live as well on ESPN. So he's doing some magical work over there behind the scenes. Little do people know, even though he talks like, his outlet, he actually has a podcast himself with a couple of his coworkers as well that he's trying to get off the ground too. So he's been busy. But other than that, like it's easy for me to control him. I don't know about anybody else, but I just like literally tell him like, look, bruh, hush.
Well, I will say it's very interesting listening to the different perspectives and thoughts and feelings of Atlanta Falcons fans. Of course, I do drop
they
in
get
every
rowdy.
now and then I do drop in every now and then, just kind of listen and then also throw an opinion out there, which every now and then it can be met good, and every now and then it can be met.
You got to catch them on a good day. You got to catch them on a good day when they're wanting to hear everything. Other than that, when they're closed-minded, no. Like that's the rowdy bunch. That's the rowdy bunch.
Yeah, it's quite fun. It's quite fun. So, what can you give me one of your more memorable moments in terms of podcast or Twitter Spaces history for you?
For me, it has to be on Spaces. When I had 92.9 The Game pull up in the Spaces, I had a couple of other, sports journalists pop in as well. I think my most memorable one is when we had Deshaun Watson, and I had about 600 people in a space listening to Falcon fans talk about Deshaun Watson. Because even Eric's like, wait a minute. 600 people were in. I said 600 people were in this space listening to us talk about Deshaun Watson, like literally about the panic with Deshaun Watson. But in that's how I met a lot more of Falcon fans, because a lot of Falcon fans were looking for good spaces to listen to about that. So they really started following me at that point and was like, yeah, we need this. This is our outlet. So over the course that pretty much kind of helped. But that's the most memorable one though, is with the Deshaun Watson, because I think that brought everybody. I think I was even meeting people from other teams. So, we had about like 25 people in the queue trying to put in their comments. So, but it was a very fun time because, again, it kind of just opened my eyes more to how much that Twitter has put us in this realm of connecting us with other people's fan bases, but just connecting all the sports lovers all at once. So I pretty much command the spaces. I know we were on, I forgot the other one that we were on as Clubhouse. I know everybody was on Clubhouse at first, but I'm like, I don't know nothing about Clubhouse. But when Spaces came to Twitter, I think that just made it a little bit better and made it easier for people to connect at that point. Because again, sports brings the good, the bad, and the ugly. But at the end of the day, we're all sports fans.
Right. And I guess got to acknowledge some sports fans that are in the Torn the AFC South inbox. Of course, we got Berto in the inbox over there, saying a few things. He said hello, and of course he said, "What's hello?"
Yes,
hello to me too.
Berto.
What's going on,
Shout out to Berto over there working at Bleacher Report. I see you.
Of course, we got Cortland in there. You know, of course,
Hey,
he's up there at
Cortland.
the combine actually. So he's actually
Yeah,
up there checking out everything.
I know it's a couple of people up there at the combine that I know. I
Oh,
haven't
it's
seen Cortland
plenty.
in a minute either.
It is
Like
plenty of people up there.
yeah, I'm sad that you're not up there, but hey, I understand.
Yeah, life be lifing. But also of course, my guy, Mr. Donnell Thomas, out there in Vegas, stopping through. What's going on,
Hey.
man? So, of course, had to mention them. But last question I do have for you. Of course, I didn't want to get into too much Falcons talk, so kind of wanted to, kind of keep it open the entire
Yeah,
time, and kind
yeah,
of
you're good.
just talk about your journey and things like that. But one question I do have for you is, um, you are a Black woman with a certain amount of influence as well. But what Black woman out there actually influenced you along this journey?
With you, I would say my mom. She gives me the hardest time, but most influential as far as it comes down to sports. Shout out to my girl Justina Anderson. Ever since I saw her on ESPN, I said I need that job. I want that job. That is my job. I wanted to be a sideline reporter so bad. And, on top of that, with the style, again, like you said, influencer, I'm like, look, I got to look cute on the sideline too, just like that, and she just gave me everything. Very good journalist. I loved how she used to report with ESPN. She was always a little cyphersaur that I used to always love to see on Sunday mornings when I used to watch NFL Countdown. So yeah, that is one person that I still follow to this day to try to do it. I'm not a writer. I will say that I did take a journalism class when I did my communication major. I did, and my teacher was like, "Hey, I don't know about this one." I'm like, "Look, just put me on TV. I just want to be on TV. Just put me on TV. You know what I'm saying? Just sit me right there on TV." But yeah. That's the one that kind of kept me to learning more about sports before, just how she was able to, wherever you put her, she was able to report on anything. And I'm like, that's where I need to be. And that's what kind of got me digging deeper into learning more, not just about my team, but others people's team. And I just want to say shout out to the Cowboy fans that I went to school with, because that was the first team that I actually dove deep into, which I kind of don't like, but the fact that I know that organization back by the side of my hand.
All right, you did have another comment from Donnell Thomas in the comments. Of course, he did notice the shirt you were wearing, so he wanted to give a salute to the SG Rose. So
Yes.
All right. All right. Now we have reached the end of the show, but we have not reached the end of the show. There's always a game.
Ooh.
We got 5 questions,
Always.
2 answers, and 1 choice. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. First question we got: Choosy Lover by the Isley Brothers or Love TKO by Teddy Pendergrass? Which song are you taking?
I go Choosy Lover. Choosy Lover.
Yeah, that song be jamming though. It does be
It
jamming.
do.
But,
I do love TKO, but I was just listening to them the other night too, to be honest.
now I will tell you, Teddy Pendergrass, he is the guy I like to say he gonna yell at you through the song. Turn them off. Turn them lights. Yeah, he gonna yell at you.
Exactly. I don't need that when I'm trying to relax, So I'm going with Choosy Lovers. TKO was for during the day. Choosy Lovers for that night.
Yeah, I hear you there. Now we're gonna go to a few busts for the Atlanta Falcons. I've got Jamal Anderson, defensive end from Arkansas. That was 2007 first round pick. And Vic Beasley, 2015, first round pick. Which one was the more disappointing pass rusher to you?
I can't choose both. God, that's a hard one. Oh my gosh.
They're definitely not easy. The controversy starts here.
I'm leaning more towards Jamal Anderson because I gotta give Vic Beasley that one freaking year, but I'm gonna go with Vic Beasley. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It was the more so of the disappointment. I think it was. I think with Jamal Anderson, I think when we picked him, we got some good production that was a little bit more not consistent enough, but Vic Beasley was. I'm still mad we wasted 15 mil on that man picking up that option, and he wanted to go be a pastor. So I'm gonna go with Vic Beasley on that one. That one still hurts to this day. Like I don't even want to see 44.
Now he's actually in there more interesting. He's trying to make a comeback. But
he can stay where he's at. We're good.
But I got another interesting connection between Jamal Anderson and Vic Beasley. They were both picked 8th overall in their respective drafts, which is quite interesting. I thought that was quite interesting when I saw that.
And you want to know what's funny? We've been picking 8 the last 3 years, so it is the magic number.
Oh, either the magic number or the tragic number. Which one do you want to take?
It's been more tragic than good. I mean, even people are looking at Kyle Pitts as being a bust, but we'll talk about that on another day.
All right. Well, talking about some teams that are some tragic times or some tragic teams in terms of Atlanta Falcons' eyes, Saints or the Panthers. You got to cheer for one team. Which one are you taking?
Now you want to get me stoned, huh? You really want to get me stoned? Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to go with the Panthers. I can't believe I just said that. Oh,
yeah, just makes you want to throw up, doesn't it?
Yeah, because I'm dang for sure not picking the Aints. No. Okay, yeah.
All right, here we go. We're going. All right, here we go. Another question. Female rappers. You got to pick one. We got Lotto or we got Glorilla. Which one are you taking?
You trying to get me stoned? Okay. Oh gosh. Okay. Disclaimer: I like both, but yeah, Glow. Yeah, Glow. Proving, I'm proving. Shout out to Memphis rappers though. Like I love the whole Memphis thing. I've been on 3-6 Mafia since I was a kid. Shout out and rest in peace, Gangsta Boo. So yes, we going
All right. All right. Now the last one, we've got 2 Atlanta quarterbacks. You have to pick one of them. That would be Matt Ryan or Michael Vick. Which quarterback are you taking?
Get me stoned, bro. You are trying to get me stoned. I love Matty Ice. He gave me the best 14 years, but it's something about Vic, man. I had me a Vic jersey dress, man, with the Melissas. Oh, it has to be Vic. It has to be Vic.
Okay. All right. I did have another question for you. I kind of scrapped that one for the Lotto Gorilla question, but Trill Bill, a little scrappy. You got to go to one concert with one of them. Which one are you going to?
Are we talking about younger or older?
We're talking about in their heyday. We're talking about in their heyday now.
In their heyday? Okay. I'm going to say, hold on now. Wait a minute.
No. We're not talking about right now. No, we know them days is past.
Yeah. Give me Scrap Dizzle. I love Scrappy at that time, even though I had both albums. But yeah, give me a little Scrappy. Okay, KK.
Yeah, that definitely. I gotta show him some love because of course he did the record with Young Buck, who is from Nashville. So yeah, there we go.
Yes, he look.
All right.
I like Young Buck too. Shawty wanna ride with me, ride? Okay.
I actually saw him this summer. He was playing in a celebrity game up here in Nashville that I actually covered. So I actually got to see him, talk to him for a hot second. Of course, Terrell Owens was like the ringer that came in and played. Looked up and like Terrell Owens is out there playing. And I'm like, hold on. We didn't even know Terrell Owens was in Nashville. What's going on here? So
look, see, y'all get some excitement out there in Nashville. Y'all trying to be little mini Atlanta. I see you.
Saw band play. Band play was there. You know who he is. Yeah, he was there.
Yeah.
Let's see. It was a lot of other people. One that some may see actually pop up on this show pretty soon, maybe this month. We'll see. But yeah, definitely it was a lot of people there and a lot of live crowd. But of course, that is the game. 5 questions, 2 answers, and 1 choice. I did add another question, I know. But that is also the end of the show. I want to thank you for coming on the show. Can you please tell everyone where they can find you on social media and all the different things you're working on? Thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Make sure y'all follow me. This is an old name, y'all know, but make sure y'all follow me at Lady E_Tellem, TELLEM. Okay, I gotta tell y'all stuff, but nah. Make sure y'all follow me on that. Y'all can also follow me on Instagram. I'm gonna be honest with you, I barely be on Instagram, to be perfectly honest. But it's _coated in chocolate. Y'all don't laugh at my name. I like that name because I'm just a chocolate Black woman supporting the Black girl magic. Also, since this is Women Month, I did wear this on purpose. Shout out to my sorority, Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, founded November 12, 1922 on the campus of Butler University. So I just had to put that in there, drop that, because again, I'm so proud of us as women, especially after we hit our centennial back in 2022, and we have been moving ever since. So if you know a Greek, shout out to a Greek. Holla out on my D9 as well too. I see y'all, but make sure y'all keep up with me. Y'all can hop in the Falcon Spaces. Also, make sure you check out Enters the Lab. We are back for our off season. We are going to be diving deep into our draft. So make sure y'all check us out at Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
All right. I've got my pen, so I got to write all these things down. It's a lot of stuff. Yeah. But I'm just kidding. But of course, thank you for coming on the show. Of course, I am the host of the show, Mike Patton. You can find me on the artist formerly known as Twitter at Mike Patton82. That's MikePatton 82. Yes, the artist formerly known as Twitter. Word to Prince, of course, the artist formerly known as Prince. So we're going to call that the artist formerly known as Twitter. So and then, of course, you can find me on Instagram and on Threads at that's THA, not THE, _general_MP. Of course, touring the AFC South on all listening platforms, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, you name it, we are there. Of course, we're at YouTube as well. Go ahead and you taking notes? Okay. Right. And all right. And I just thank everyone for tuning in. Again, this is Women's History Month. We will be having Black women as guests the entire month. It will not be just sports guests, people. We will have actresses. We will have a scientist on the show. We will have upper management people that are Black women on the show. So, yes, we will have a diverse grouping of Black women on this show this month. You have to stay tuned in to see who all they are and what all they do. That's how you find out. Thank you again for tuning in to Touring the AFC South with your host, Mike Patton. Lady E, thank you again. And we are out.
Thank you.
Peace.